Hi, I'm Bruce St. James from News Talk 92.3 KTAR, and we've put together a group of experts to help you understand some of the problems, issues, myths, and facts about short sales here in the Valley. I've been working with Marge Peck from the Peck team and Discover Arizona Real Estate, and she's here helping me as we try to go through some of these and really answer questions that a lot of homeowners have, and maybe you have been thinking yourself. So hopefully we'll get to one of your questions here. Marge, let me start things off because this is something that happened to me when I first looked into doing a short sale. I was told by more than one person, including real estate agent and the bank, I had to be behind on my payments to even be considered, to even qualify for a short sale.
Okay, do we have like a fact and fiction button?
Should the buzzer go off when that happens?
The buzzer would be going off right now, and I'm sitting next to one of my attorneys, and I know it's not legal for me to ever tell a homeowner, stop making your payments. Mm-hmm. The lenders will do that just so that they can get you in default.
They have a vested interest.
They have a vested interest.
Okay.
Kaveh, let me ask you a question as an attorney with the state of Arizona. Would you tell a homeowner to stop making their payments?
No, absolutely not. Keep in mind, each situation is case specific. So when we sit down and do our consultations with our clients, we have to take the overall picture into consideration. We call it totality of circumstances. What is going on in their lives? You know, if they have a huge payment and they just cannot afford to make the payment, then we guide them along that path. We don't tell them absolutely stop making the payment so that you can conduct a short sale. We advise them based on their best course of action. So what's going to help them get out of debt the quickest and with the least amount of impact. As bankruptcy attorneys, we're first and foremost debt relief agents, and any bankruptcy attorney will tell you that. We have to formulate ideas and strategies to get them out of debt prior to even going down the bankruptcy path. So whether that's fall behind on your payments, try the short sale, don't try the short sale, you know, file bankruptcy, we take the whole picture into consideration.
What makes me sad, Bruce, is you had perfect credit. You had perfect credit.
Had.
And some people and the lender told you to stop making payments.
Yeah.
You could have done a short sale with your payments current.
Yeah.
Am I right about that, Mark Taylor?
Yeah, absolutely. That's a big misnomer out there right now, because the bank wants you to prove that you are in fact in some pain, which is not making a payment, which then the bank doesn't realize that it costs you an increased insurance, that your credit cards will get chopped up. You can't use any credit at that point. And if that was the case and you had to be late to qualify for a short sale, why is it that we have loans for people that aren't late? Why are all the loans that we've done, they've been told to be late, we've called the bank and said, no, we're not required to. Fannie and Freddie does not require you to be late in certain circumstances. And when you give that pushback to the bank, you've been able to go through with your credit as intact as possible.
I think that's frustrating for a lot of people because whether you've been to a dinner party or talked to your neighbor over the fence or just bumped into him down at the store, it becomes one of these almost accepted myths. This lie or this mistruth has been told so many times that unfortunately I think a lot of people take it for granted that it just is what it is. Okay, so let's say we go ahead and I say I'm going to move forward with the short sale process. Either I'm current or I'm behind, and I've decided that's right for me. I mean, come on. There's no chance of these things getting approved. This is just a big dog and pony show. What did I hear? The national average is something like 85% of them are turned down. What are really my odds of getting a short sale completed?
Oh, no, I'm going to get upset now, Bruce. I don't know that they're turned down or that they just fail. And when I started doing short sales some years ago, because I truly feel bad for the homeowner. They got into this mess, and usually a professional helped them in, a real estate agent, and now we're the real estate agents that know how to do this transaction to get them out of this transaction, which there's several people here based on the businesses they're in that can attest to that it's about 85% failure.
Yeah.
So is that the bank? Sometimes. Or is it the real estate agent not knowing how to do this transaction? And Mark, you're vice president for Lawyers Title. Let me ask you a question. Do you see a little bit of incompetency on both factors, the lenders and the real estate agent in doing this transaction?
Absolutely. I mean, it's, it's a situation where these are difficult transactions. There's a lot of moving pieces. There's parties to the transactions who stand to lose a fair amount of money. In fact, a lot of money when it comes to the lenders. And you've got to have a team together that knows what they're doing. A real estate agent in particular that has got the training, the heart of a teacher, somebody who's got compassion towards the person who is trying to sell the home, trying to get out of a very difficult situation. Marge does that as well as anybody, and we've enjoyed working with her. She understands the whole short sale process, and we still see deals get done. I mean, there are a number of transactions that will crater. Over 20% or around 20% of the sales currently are being handled as short sales. So they are getting done. It just takes a team and a real estate agent in particular knowing what they're doing in order to get that accomplished.
Well, I think that's the key thing in there. You talk about having a team of people, and that's why, Marge, you've helped assemble this group of experts in here. So let's say, all right, great, I've made this decision. I'm thinking about doing a short sale, but you know what's holding me back? I was told that I wouldn't be able to purchase another home for, 5 years, 7 years maybe, and I got to live somewhere, and maybe I don't want to be a renter that long. I mean, that's what they told me down at the grocery store.
Okay, who's the source of the We're going to change the source.
I need to talk to better people, is that it?
We're going to keep you cuffed to me.
Right.
What I would love to do is we're going to defer now again to Mark Taylor, who's going to talk about, since I started doing short sales, FHA has changed their guidelines.
Correct.
And the government can change their mind tomorrow.
Sure.
Okay, the rules can change, but will you go over how
Sure.
soon someone can purchase?
A lot of consumers, again, goes back to the urban coffeehouse myth that, just because someone said it has become a fact. Basically, it breaks down in a very simple format. Let's assume that you are currently in a position of default, i.e. you're late. You can acquire a mortgage with conventional financing 2 years from the date of the short sale, having been funded. It's 2 years from then, with at least a 720 FICO and a minimum of 10% down. You can wait for 3 years and do FHA financing with 3.5% down with a 640 FICO. If you're current and you haven't been behind on your mortgage, both vehicles, conventional and FHA, will allow you to buy right away. However, on the conventional side, you still have to come up with 10% down, which, if you have those assets, is difficult to get through a short sale if you have that much liquidity available to you. So FHA, the standard client that comes to us, is struggling. They're able to cash in their savings, keep their house current, and then mom and dad or a close family friend help them with their down payment to get into a home that's typically closer to work, easy to manage, and a better all-around payment. But no, there's no reason for people to be out of a home a very long period of time.
See, we're learning the truth now, and then trying to dispel a lot of these myths.
It will set you free.
Well, and I agree, and I think part of the problem is, like we've mentioned, some of these things have been retold so many times. You see them on the news, you read an article in the newspaper, a friend, maybe a trusted friend told you, and they're just not true. So let's keep dispelling some of these myths, some of these commonly held things. One of them is that in order to qualify for the short sale, the one thing the bank is going to look at, the one thing the lender is going to look at is a financial hardship. If you have, maybe I haven't been unemployed for 2 years, maybe I don't have $100,000 in credit card debt. I mean, I'm never going to qualify for a financial hardship because I'm not destitute yet.
I haven't been able to find the lender's book of the rules of the short sale.
Okay.
So I feel my job as a professional, Bruce, is to listen to your hardship, which was, at one point you were current on your mortgage.
Yeah.
At one point you lived about a tank and a half of gas from your station.
Yeah.
And depending upon where the price of gas is, what that's financially doing to you, you wanted to live closer to your employment, and you couldn't sell your home because you're upside down. Even though you could afford the payment, to cover that deficit of being upside down. So I think you had a hardship right there that you wanted to sell your home and live closer to your employment. So here's what I do. You just write the letter of what you tell us.
Right.
And you say, that's it, it's spelled correctly, and we send it in to the lender. and let them decide if it's the hardship that's going to let you do the short sale.
Well, you know, that's something you said to me that really resonated, and something I've tried to pass along to other people too. It's not the job of the real estate agent to tell you you don't have enough of a hardship or you're not bad enough off. It's the job of them to present the case in its entirety and put it on the lenders to come back and part of the negotiation, but don't disqualify yourself before you've even gotten there.
And that's the issue with the short sale failure rate, is because the agents of record don't have the requisite skills to put the package together in the first place, to put all the moving pieces together. They don't understand how complex it is to put it in a very simple, easily digestible package that says they might not have a classic hardship, but if they continue along this path, this is what will happen to your asset, this is how much it will lose, this is how long it takes to sell the house, and if we don't act, the loss is going to be this much more significant. And then the bank has the right to make the choice. And invariably, if the argument is put together correctly, the bank will make the choice that is right for you.
Well, like Mark said earlier, this has to do with having the right team around you,
Correct.
having the proper team of people that understand this, and I think that's one of the things. Why don't you explain to me a little bit about what CSSPE is, because I think that's an important piece of this team.
I think if you saw the graphs, how many people in the valley are upside down or losing their homes, it's
It's a big number.
It's frightening.
Yeah.
Okay, and Mark can probably give us a little information on that. And in as much as I would love to go out and help every homeowner, because I think I'm Aaron Brockovich, I'm one person and I've got a great team. So we created a class, a certified short sale property expert, after we took a lot of the other short sale classes that explained how we got in this car accident, but it doesn't explain. Kaveh has seen the paperwork that we use. Our paperwork is all typed. We don't send anything handwritten to the lenders because I would be concerned about them being able to decipher it. I've seen some poorly written purchase contracts that are handwritten by real estate agents that I don't know why they're doing that. We've got the ability with technology to type everything we do and make it legible and professional. We send the entire package to the lender as an e-fax of one PDF document. There isn't standing by a fax machine. We're using technology and we've taken it to just a whole nother level so that our success ratio reflects what we're doing.
You're the first person I've ever done the electronic signature with. I didn't even know it existed.
Oh, come on.
I never had done that before.
Yes, you did. You did it at Macy's. You've done it at Walmart.
Well, I
You've
guess
done
so.
it
I
at your
never
bank.
thought of somebody that could do that at my kitchen table, where I could sign things electronically. I was like, well, we've really entered the 2000s, for goodness sakes. I was excited. All right, let's keep going with some of the myths and some of the differences here. I heard that even if you decide to go through, you like how I start with I've heard? Even if I decide to go with a short sale, you know, the buyers out there, they're staying away from short sales. They're worried about them. Heck, there's commercials and billboards that say, you don't want to buy a short sale. These are going to take forever. They're trying to make you think that there are no buyers for short sales out there. Are there buyers? I know the answer, by the way.
Do you?
I know the answer because we had 2 offers right away. So I've got buyers lined up, right?
And part of that is, and I'm really blessed that our reputation that we know how to close them, so agents aren't afraid to show ours.
Right.
The other thing is, we didn't put anything on your sign ugly that said short sale, pre-foreclosure, because I think the only person that hurts, there's 2 people, your neighborhood, and how would you feel driving in and out of your driveway?
Right.
And so, when you buy a short sale, you're living in the house. Pool's not green, is it, Bruce?
No.
Power's still on, the lawn's being maintained, right?
Yep.
So you get a better home that's being maintained by the homeowner, the pride of ownership is still there. You just have to make sure the listing agent knows what they're doing. Mark, what are your feelings about that?
Oh, you know what, as I said earlier, I mean, the short sales are still getting done. They're getting done by the people who know what they're doing. And, you know, Marge and her team have gone in, perfected a way to get those short sales done, to keep, you know, dignity for the people who are going through the pain and suffering at the time, making sure that they're attracting buyers and buyers agents because of the reputation that's out there, and deals do get done. And so, you know, I think that is a myth that's out there of, oh, you'll never get a short sale done. They will get done. We close a lot of them every single day, and And again, it just takes the right team and the right agent to get that done.
It really is the team part. From my side, my drawer is full of buyers. I've never had this many people sitting in a drawer as long as I have. For example, I have one client, 3 years, 14 days, and 11 hours. Because he put offers on 4 short sales.
Right.
And each time I tried to get involved with the listing agent wouldn't take any participation. They know best. And the deal falls apart. With us, we work together, so if I have the buyer and they're out buying the listing, we keep them...
I got it.
It's the attorney's phone. Is it yours?
But it's an attorney call, so that's an important call.
Yeah, there you go. So I'll go back. I've even forgotten my thread.
3 hours, 3
Oh,
years.
yes. So 3 years, 14 days and 11 hours. Because he kept putting in offers, the family kept putting in offers on short sales, and the listing agents would never take any participation from me, their lender. You know, I speak across the country on short sales and how to get them done. So what works for Marge and I is if we're involved in the transaction, we keep communicating to the buyer. The buyer is frightened because they don't hear anything.
Mm-hmm.
They're okay if I call them every week and say, hey, on 1, 2, 3, 4 Easy Street, still progressing, nothing to let you know, nothing's changed. They love it, and they're
Right.
patient because they do want to buy a home from someone that's occupied, where there isn't the fear of vandalism on a foreclosure that they're trying to buy. We have a case right now where this weekend everything was stripped out the house. They're closing today. They can't close.
Right.
With an owner-occupant in there, that's not going to happen. So there's advantages to having a short sale, and with anyone that's a CSSPE, the time frame, you know, the urban legend, 6 or more months to do a short sale has been drastically reduced.
Well, I think you just, unfortunately, you don't hear the good side of it
No.
very often. And
Right.
and again, there's people with vested interests in making sure you don't hear the good side.
You know, Bruce, unfortunately in my profession, so many people are fed that misinformation. And the reason I'm just so happy to be working with such a great team is the information that people get through the classes is absolutely invaluable in my opinion, because a lot of people who come see me for our consultations have already foregone the option of short sale, and they've already fallen behind so far, and they don't even want to approach the home or approach the fact that maybe they could be proactive and do a short sale, so they just pushed into bankruptcy. And a lot of people don't know that you can do a short sale, you can do a bankruptcy, you can do them together, and help yourself, your personal situation a lot.
Right.
But it all stems from that misinformation of, I just heard that it's not worth it, that it's going to take forever, there's no buyers, I might as well just walk away, stop making my payment, and I'll file bankruptcy.
Yeah.
And they don't have to do that. They have options, and they need to be proactive.
Well, one of the things that I think we keep hearing over and over again is that not all agents are created equal. It might be a nice way to put it. And if you assume that merely because somebody has a real estate license that they're an expert at short sales, you're making a heck of an assumption. And that's not meant to be disparaging to anybody else, but it is there's a skill and there's an experience that goes with short sales that many real estate agents have never learned because they never had to.
It's the most challenging transaction I've done in the 3 decades I've been in real estate. I get such pleasure when we get an approval letter that call you'll get from me when we get the approval letter, because we get thrilled about that.
Right.
And I think where most real estate agents, back in the day when I started, our brokers, our designated brokers used to tell us, get out there and get a sign out in front because you'd get buyer calls. You can't do that to a homeowner doing a short sale. That homeowner is entitled to the level of competence to complete a short sale, which is a
Right.
whole lot different than just wanting buyer calls
Right.
by having your sign out in front of someone's property.
Right.
And
It's a different mindset.
it's a totally different mindset, and the commitment to, you're taking on the lenders. When you talk Bank of the Universe, that have got enormous departments, qualified people, some not so qualified. But it's persistence where we're on the phones constantly, and we've created a system where we actually can work the system, and we do a lot of communication via email so that we can stay on the phones and complete these transactions.
So
You don't deserve a short sale or a foreclosure.
Right.
You deserve a successful short sale.
So let's say there's somebody watching, or there's somebody that calls in and they say, well, I mean, I'm thinking about the short sale, but you know what? I already have a foreclosure date. I got this certified letter in the mail. It's too late. There's nothing I can do, right? I just have to sit here and pack my stuff up and wait for the sheriffs to nail something to the door? I mean, is there any options for those people?
Literally, last Wednesday night, Mike and Chad went out and took an appointment Wednesday night for a property that was foreclosing Friday at 11 a.m. in the morning.
Okay.
That's the gun to our head.
Oh, yeah.
Because the next morning we had to, one of my staff, we did a conference call with the homeowner at home because the letter of authorization, somebody hadn't even taken it out of a fax queue yet.
Mm-hmm.
We had multiple offers by noon the next day on the property. And by 4 o'clock that afternoon, by the grace of God and an amazing staff, we had the foreclosure postponed.
Wow.
And we're working the short sale.
So there literally is things that can be done right up until the last minute, but you just have to know the right people to ask.
Okay, if you're going to wait till the very last
Well,
minute...
I'm not encouraging them to wait till the last
There's only
minute.
so many of us that can get out there. We still have to get
Right.
out there and do all the paperwork, and you have to have the paperwork handy. And again, it took 4 of us the next day, about 4 hours of commitment, where we really worked with this homeowner's lender. And afterward, it was high five. There was no margarita served. It was back to working on everybody else's. But we took the time for 4 staff people to get involved, and myself, to make that sale stop. The lenders really don't want to foreclose. Am I right about that? Do the lenders want to foreclose?
No.
Or in most scenarios, would they rather?
Because we hear,
do a
you know, the
short
bank would
sale?
rather foreclose on it, and a short sale is it's a bother to the lender.
We see the statistics, and the banks see the statistics on what they can net from a short sale versus a foreclosure. And they realize it is, you know, not only do they take less per square foot on a foreclosure, they then run the risk of the stripping of any assets that are there. They run the risk of something happening to the home. They then see if they have other homes that they have lent on in that community, that their value now goes down because
Right.
that home just sold, drags the comps down. And so it is true, they would rather not do that. We've seen foreclosures stopped even during the time that they're bidding on the courthouse steps.
Wow.
The person conducting the auction will answer a cell phone, say, okay, this one's off. So it can, you know, with the right people handling the short sale, they can get the foreclosure stopped. The bank is looking for any reason that they wouldn't go through the foreclosure process. And if they see that there's a good faith effort being made by somebody who's qualified, who knows what they're doing, they would prefer to stop that and see if they can get a short sale.
Again, I think that's an answer that a lot of people don't hear.
Right.
A lot of people have not heard that. They, as a matter of fact, probably think the exact opposite, unfortunately.
Right.
So let me pose it back to you then.
Yeah.
So if that's the case and they are losing thousands, hundreds of thousands of dollars in foreclosure, then why are they making it so hard?
I wish I knew the answer.
Well, the answer is very simple, because the banks have to find the people that are really in trouble. The ones that really need the help will be the ones that will shout the loudest and find the right people.
Mm-hmm.
There's a couple of banks out there that recently published reports saying that over half of the files submitted during Hamp and Hafer were basically people taking advantage of the market. So that prevented them from being able to help the people that had cancer, had to go part-time, lay off, whatever, the real people that really needed the help, which is why we spent over $300 billion in TARP funds as a country to help those individuals. So there is a frustration from the bank, and they understand that foreclosures are more expensive, but there's also a process they have to go through. And
Right.
they have to put all these safety valves in place to make sure what they're dealing with is really a file.
And not fraud.
Correct.
Right. And you can understand that on a certain level. And again, it gets back to having the right people around you that know how to navigate this. I have a question. This will be for you, Marge, and for Kaveh, our bankruptcy attorney. Which comes first? Is it bankruptcy then short sale, or you know, how does that work for a lot of
Chicken
folks?
and the egg, right?
Yeah,
That's really-
is it that close to one another?
Here's what's important. When I need an attorney's advice, I immediately bring them into it. You can start a short sale, and that's good. You can
Mhm.
start the short sale. But you as a homeowner may need the payment from the house to qualify for the bankruptcy.
Oh.
So what's really kind of wonderful is my clients get a free consultation with KTAR. Have I answered that pretty accurately?
Yeah, Bruce, you know, as I said before my phone really interrupted, you know, these homeowners need to be proactive. It's a must. You know, they can't come to us the day before and say, hey, I have a foreclosure tomorrow. And trust me, it's happened numerous times where they say, my foreclosure is tomorrow, I need to file BK, or what do? I need to do a short sale. Well, you know, 5 p.m. on a Friday and the foreclosure.
But I'm
Monday.
sorry, the two legal firms that shall remain nameless on television say that you can stay in the house without making a payment. They can stop any foreclosure at any time. Call us after hours, 24 hours. We'll even come to you.
They also file bankruptcy for no cost, but you know that's not true. You know, people will say anything and do anything for marketing.
Yeah.
And what we really truly advocate at my firm is get in as soon as you feel a slight inclination of trouble. When you feel that the debt's too much, the home payment's too much.
Can't keep up with things.
Can't keep
yeah.
up. You need to be proactive. You need to go get a consultation. And our firm offers free consultations. What do you have to lose? You know, be proactive. Go out there, and because a lot of times we do refer our clients and say, go attempt the short sale first. You know, because if you can get the short sale done and, you know, be absolved of any tax implications or deficiency liability, then you do the short sale, you're out of the situation. You know what? And you don't have to file BK. But your question, you can file a bankruptcy and do a short sale at the same time.
Okay.
When you file a bankruptcy, there is an automatic stay put in place, so the home is locked into the bankruptcy estate. However, we can file a motion to actually remove the property and give it back to the realtor to conduct a short sale. So the two can go hand in hand. So you get the benefit of the short sale and you get the benefit of the bankruptcy discharge and being out of debt.
And again, everybody's situation's different, and I appreciate you having to navigate that a little.
Yeah,
I get that, but I think the key thing you bring up is don't wait till the last minute.
Absolutely.
It limits your options, it limits your opportunities. You know, and it strikes me as kind of one of the other theme that you get with a lot of this, and we hear last minute, and we hear people maybe, I don't want to use the term living in denial, but certainly not dealing with things head on. Is it embarrassment? Is there just a certain measure of either people are stressed out, right, and they don't want to deal with it, or they're embarrassed. They think there's some sort of
Both.
stigma, some sort of they're going to be the scarlet letter A walking through the neighborhood because they're in financial trouble, not knowing.
Both.
Everybody on the block's in the same darn boat.
All of the above, Bruce.
Uh-huh.
I meet homeowners and dads, the breadwinners, that can't feed their kids. They've lost their job. The wife is maybe covering the groceries with her bill, but not covering the whole overhead. There is so much stress in the families that I've spoken with educators, principals, and teachers that they feel it with the kids in the classrooms.
Wow.
Okay, I mean, you've got a lot of programs now where the kids are getting breakfast at school. Kids are hungry, but we're not hearing about that on the news. And then we have some people that can make the payment, but they'd like to move because they're starting to subsidize it with their 401k.
Right.
And they know that's not a wise choice because some of us would say...
I pulled a lot of money out of my savings and cashed in some things that I,
but you know what,
in retrospect now, I know I shouldn't have.
But you didn't know what to do.
I didn't know any better.
Okay, you didn't know what to do. You didn't know what way to turn, and we keep hearing through the media, the recession is over.
Yeah.
But tough times.
Happy days are here again,
but
right?
Tough times will
$4 a
linger.
gallon.
Yeah, you know, you go buy a tank of gas, and it's like a utility bill that you're paying when you pull into the gas station. And so you wanted to move closer to work. People are trying to make wise decisions for their family that they should be making, but they're still embarrassed to talk about it because when you hear on the news, the recession's over.
Yeah, you think you're the only one.
You are.
Yeah.
That's it. It's just you, Bruce. You're the only person, but when I show you, I know that Mark's got some stats down there that I'm dying to
Well, I was going to say,
watch
you know,
it.
that's one of the things that really helped me, sitting down with you, and Marge comes to your house, and we sat down at the kitchen table, and you have your presentation and go through things, and, you know, I really walked away from it saying, A, I'm not alone, B, my situation isn't even that unique, you know, everybody wants to feel special on a certain level, but once you go through this, go, boy, I'm in a boat with a lot of other folks right now.
Sure.
What's the smartest thing I can do for myself, you know? And that's really been, for me, there was really this, like the light went off, that was the epiphany, and I felt so much more comfortable about the process when I said, I'm making smart decisions, I have people around me that I can trust now, and I know that we're doing the best that we can and moving forward. And what more can I ask for? You know, I was operating off sheer ignorance for years prior to that, and I'm just so happy that I feel like I'm in control of it, the process, a little more now.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So I wanted to thank everybody for being in here. I think we got through a lot of the questions, right? You feel good about that?
I think we did.
Absolutely. And again, if you need more of your questions answered, or you want to find out more, the easiest way to know what your choices are is to give Marge a call. 480-CHOICES. You can go to your website, 480choices.com, and check out Marge Peck and the Peck team. And the key word in that sentence is team, and the folks at Discover Arizona Real Estate. Thank you very much.